Hey, what's up, guys? Back with another Mage Tower video slash guide, and this time we're doing Shadow Priest. I wanted to do this one because I like the transmog, and I've already done it on Frost Mage, so I kind of know the fight. Nothing to learn there. Have to learn the class just a little bit because I haven't played it much, but it actually went easier than the Frost Mage. I don't know if that was due to the equipment I was using, consumables, or what, because I was 63 at the time of completing the challenge, so ended up going a lot easier than on my Frost Mage. But as far as consumables, pretty standard to what I use on most of the Mage Tower challenges. Food wise, Big Mech, McDowell's Big Mech food, you get a critical strike buff off of that. Borealis Blood Sausage, gain main stat, or NA stat rather. I think I went for Big Macs because I wanted more crit. So we did that. Potion of Spectral Intellect. There's a greater one that gives you 200, but it's way more expensive, so I just opted for this one. Any drums, that's going to give you lust for it. And Flask of Endless Fathoms, that's going to give you your intellect flask, intellect stat. And then I also use these runes that you can put on your weapon instead of Shadow Core oil. You could use that if you want to, but I found this gives you crit strike rating, and that's your buzzing rune. And your howling rune is going to give you haste. I believe it scales down, so you're not going to get 265, but don't quote me on that. But it does give you enough to where I noticed my crit percentage go up pretty decently, so it might stay the same. I would venture to say it probably drops down, but I for sure would definitely get those and put them on there. I think it's a little more beneficial than the Shadow Core oil on the damage breakdown. You know, just get your spells to hit harder rather than the damage from the Shadow Core oil. And I used a Battle Scarred Augment Rune. I did use the Defiled one a couple times. Whichever one's cheaper, use that one. As far as equipment, I ran Siege of Orgrimmar on Heroic and Mythic, and I just essentially picked all the crit haste gear and anything that had sockets on it. I didn't get a few pieces to drop, but those are pretty much the only two. Also the cloak, I just had that for my current stuff. It doesn't have crit haste, but it has crit, and I could put a Dragonflight enchant on it, so I got a little bit of leech out of it. But pretty much we're stacking crit haste on this, so everything is enchanted and gems in it. I mean, all in all, I didn't spend that much gold really. I think I spent maybe 1,500 gold or something, so it's not crazy. And the pieces that you're going to sell from it is going to kind of offset the cost, so not too bad. But yeah, everything's enchanted that can be, rings and stuff. Critical strike, haste gem, crit gem. I try to have my crit and haste relatively the same. I think in the instance it was, I don't know, I want to say like 30% crit and 26% haste. So it was pretty far up there. As far as trinkets, for any of the challenges, I would recommend these four. Essentially, the best, the two best are definitely these. The Unblinking Gaze of Seth or Seeth. You get that from Lord Iskar in Hellfire Citadel. So you can clear the front part of that raid out and get in there and get that from him. It, on a couple other challenges and videos that I got coming out, it did a lot of damage. In this one, it wasn't crazy the amount of damage it did, but it was still probably top 5 or top 6, 7 damage on my details breakdown. And the Ravaged Seed Pod and the Swarming Plague Hive. Ravaged Seed Pod is pretty good. It just drops a little AoE on the ground underneath you and does AoE damage. I can't use it now. it does pretty good, especially if you got high amounts of mobs, which can be good in this instance, because you have all those little, Sci-Fiend looking things chasing after you. I used the Swarming Plague Hive for a couple, didn't think it did a lot of damage, so I just kind of took that out and opted for this one, which is, I think, from Siege, if I remember right. It was from the Heroic it dropped, and it just gives you Intellect for 10 seconds, and it procs 1 time per minute, and it procs maybe 4 times during the fight. As you'll see in the fight video, I kind of got lucky with some stuff, so it didn't actually have the opportunity to proc a lot. And that's pretty much it for consumables and gear. Um, and we'll jump over to the fight video and we'll go over that. Okay, so apparently in the consumables and equipment I forgot to do the talent loadout. So I did this on 63, so I think I got a priest point when I hit 64, just after this mage tower, and I think I just picked up Shattered Perceptions. So just act like this isn't here, and this is pretty much the stuff I took. I took Halo here just because it's going to give me an AoE damage to all the shadowy fiends or whatever that come out. None of the other stuff I really found was that beneficial, like a must-have type of thing. I guess Power Infusion, so I could get additional haste. I did that on the first time that Race becomes targetable and you're able to do damage to him. I popped that and Potion of Spectral Intellect and kind of went ham. As far as everything over here, obviously Devouring Plague. Since I'm not too familiar with Priest, whenever you cast Devouring Plague, it changes Mind Flay into like a Void Torrent. Mind Flay Insanity, there it is. So I took this one. It does pretty good damage, and I wanted to use Mind Flay as much as possible, specifically because of this talent here. The Idol of Cthulhu. So Mind Flay and Mind Seer have a chance to spawn a Void Tendril or Lasher that channels at your target for 15 seconds, and generating 3 Insanity every 1 second. So you can just couple into, if one of these pops out, then you throw Devouring Plague, hit him with Mind Flay Insanity, and you just bounce back and forth, between those. If you're getting procs from Mind Blast and Mind Spike, try to throw those when you can. This is definitely the one I credit for this kill, so for sure pick this one up. I went for Void Torrent here rather than Damnation. That's just going to put your Vampiric Touch and Shadowward Pain and Devouring Plague on your target. I opted for Void Torrent because it does pretty good damage. I got it out a couple times during the fight. Shadow Crash, definitely got to have for all the shadowy fiends that spawn, and make sure that you can get them all dotted up. I took Void Eruption. You can cast Void Eruption, and then it transforms after you do the initial cast into Void Bolts. So I picked that one up. I have seen level 70s do this in the build. They take Malediction, and I think Idol of N'Zoth too. So if you're level 70, pop those in there. Don't hold me to it. I did it at 63, so this is all I kind of had. I just made sure that I took this, and you'll see why in the kill video. But yeah, let's get over to the kill video. Alright, so we're going to get into the kill video. With this one, first off, I would say if you have weak auras, definitely head over to wago.io and pick up Thwarting the Twins weak aura pack. There's a good one. It gives a lot of nice visuals and sound effects and stuff to let you know what exactly is going on. I've done this enough times on my Frost Mage that I'm not confused about what's going on. It's just a little bit different a play style on a Shadow Priest. I killed it way quicker, which was awesome. Um, but, you know, same theory applies here. I am using Tell Me When here because I'm not too familiar with Shadow Priest, and I just wanted the major things that I needed to focus on up here, so I put a Tell Me When up here with my Fear, Silence, Void Eruption, Shadow Crash, and Shadow Fiend and stuff. I don't even think I think I may use this once because I ended up killing Ray so quick that it only was used once. I got pretty lucky. We do see all the phases here, so I'll go over the phase changes and stuff and what kind of to look out for. It'll take a little practice, but you know, run it a few times and get a sense of what's going on. But I'll throw out a little bit of what I think helps a lot, and hopefully it'll help you too. So in the first phase is pretty straightforward. Yeah, so I did use the blood sausage on this one. Um, in this first phase, pretty straightforward. Karam is going to chase you until he gets down to 33% health. So he drops a pool on the ground that is going to slow you. It doesn't do any damage, but it does do slow. So on this first one, there's no reason to keep him around the kill area or where you're going to do most of your fighting. So on this first time, I go ahead, I usually always run out to the edge back here and draw him out to the back and just keep him off to the side. He's going to drop one before he gets to you, usually about there. But just throw some DPS on him. Don't use any major cooldowns and stuff. Just put your dots on him, mind flame and stuff. The Idol of Cthulhu, I got lucky. I got a proc right here, and you can see that it absolutely just murdered this dude. So I wanted to get on raced really quick, and I'm making sure to use my mind flay as much as possible so I can try to get those procs. And I get really lucky here. Now normally at this time, I mean, once we go through this phase, you get about 40 seconds to do damage on raced, somewhere in that neighborhood. Usually I only get him to about like 79 or 78 or something like that, but I don't know, the RNG gods were on my side, and I started getting Void Lashers like crazy, and you'll see that I absolutely just murder this dude. But essentially, this is when it's going to start where you get the shadowy fiends on the ground. He's going to spawn a few of these, and they're going to chase after you. Just avoid them. The biggest tip that I could give you with the shadowy fiends and even fighting Karam when he comes back up and starts to chase you, he's going to drop these pools on the ground. You want to keep this as central as possible. Your fighting area is going to be out here. You're going to be kiting around this circle. So try to keep them in here as best as possible. You know, if you get one out here, you know, not a big deal. But try to keep this as central as possible. In the last phase, it hasn't come up yet, but he drops a rune of summoning that you have to get in, and you have to stand in for, you know, 5 seconds or something like that to get it to go away. They're always going to be out in this area, so you don't want to drop these all over the place. So you're standing in one of these, you can't get out, you got Karam chasing you, you got the shadowy fiends chasing you, you're going to get smacked upside the head and you're going to die quick. Like, just try to keep it in the center as best as possible. But here I get lucky, as you'll see with these Fel Lashers, and I mean, he just starts getting demolished. So this is when I kind of knew, like, I've never got him down this low, but that talent, like, it's OP, and I almost kill him on the first run. Like, I mean, he's down to 35%. It's just unreal. I've never got him that low before. But all this applies still, even if you only get him to 70%. It doesn't change what you're doing here. So in this phase, so we've started the next phase. We're going to get the hand from beyond. So throw your dots on him. Try to get him down before he gets his cast off. If you can't, make sure you interrupt this. If you don't, you're dead. So make sure you silence that. I don't know of any other way to get rid of that cast other than silence. I don't know if there's some other type of... I know you can't like fear it or anything like that, but I don't know of any other... There might be something out there that you could maybe do, but save your silence. Don't use it on anything else. Use it for the Grasp of Beyond. And we're going to get rid of that. So I kind of know at this stage that like, wow, Race is down really low. So I'm trying to get Karam down to 33% before another hand of Beyond spawns. Which I think one spawns. No, it didn't spawn. So you're going to go into this phase. Karam's going to go down. He's going to heal back up. He's going to be in Purgatory. He's going to heal back up again, and then that's going to be the last time that he goes down. And at the end of the 40 seconds, when Raced would normally go back into his ritual, he's not going to do that. So he's fair game now for the rest of the fight. So what's going to happen is Karam's going to come back and begin chasing you, and it's whoever wins, essentially, at that point. So you want to pop your drums, you want to pop everything, and go to town here. Yeah, I get a couple more Fell Lashers and or whatever. I don't even know if that's exactly the name. Fell Lashers or the Tendrils or whatever. I'm trying to get as many procs as I can of that. So in this last phase, you're going to start to get these Rune of Summoning. So they're going to drop down. Need to stand in them for what? 3-4 seconds. Save your fear for these little shadowy fiends, just in case they're in the way. Or use your dispersion. You'll see me use that in a little bit, but I was getting kill horny here because I'm like, okay, I did a lot of damage here and I got lucky, so I really need to go after it. We're going to take care of this hand from beyond, make sure that he doesn't get his cast off. And there's another rune. And unfortunately, I think I only tag one mob with my fear, so I pop dispersion just to make sure that I don't get hit and ruin this. I'm just trying to get as far away from everybody as possible. Now, normally you just want to complete this circle here. Keep everybody in the center as best as possible. I'm only running around crazy because I'm like, oh crap, he's really dead, so I'm going for the kill, and I'm gambling that I don't have to play the long game because I'm not. I mean, he's just too low for it. So make sure you just keep everybody in the middle. Take care of your hand from beyond and listen out for a rune spawning. But I almost blew it right there by sitting there trying to get that last spell off, because he will actually, I don't know, there's been times where I felt like I've been pretty far away from him, and then he just does his flaming sword ability and yeets you out into the void. So make sure you just watch that. But like I said, I was getting kill horny, so I'm like, you just gotta do it. You gotta go for it. But yeah, that's pretty much the fight. This last phase that you've seen there, it's just, you know, take care of the Rune of Summoning, you know, take care of the hands from beyond, make sure you keep everybody in the center, and hopefully the RNG gods are on your side and you'll do that damage like I did. So hopefully this helps you. Leave some comments at the bottom of the video if you have any questions about things. I'll try to help where I can, and hopefully you have good luck and you'll get it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.